This is TW Battles doing online commentary for Napoleon Total War. I am playing Great Britain and my opponent is Prussia. I'm going to go ahead and list the army on the screen here so you can take a look at that while I explain about this wonderful new mod that I'm playing. It's called the Great War, and it's an early alpha stage mod that brings World War I type combat to Napoleon Total War. Please note this is a very early mod. It features only gameplay changes, so stuff such as skins and textures have not been employed yet on this mod, and you can see that infantry, cavalry, and artillery all look pretty much the same as they look in Napoleon Total War. So at this point of this mod, let's look at it strictly from a gameplay standpoint. Just to explain a little bit about some of the units, all infantry carry World War I style rifles and have breech load animations. All rifles have bolt action reload times. All infantry units are 400 men per unit and fight in skirmisher chain type of formations. All cannons fire explosive shells, have World War I breech load reload times, and all cannons can fire over obstacles. There are much larger deployment zones to start the battle to account for the larger army sizes. You could see me advancing my army forward here as quickly as possible. I have one of my artillery units, my 6-pounder horse artillery unit, all set to fire here, and right away they begin firing on the advancing Prussian units. You can see some rockets getting fired into my advancing units. It's a very long-range weapon, with not very good accuracy, but nonetheless, you can see how it affected the morale of my advancing troops and how many of my horses got taken out there in the earlier stages of the battle. Here's some of that artillery fire on some of my advancing units. You can see what that did to the morale there. Quickly went from green to orange, as this unit is not very happy about being fired upon right now. And here's my 5-inch howitzer unit. I deployed them to start the battle a little too far back, so unfortunately I'm going to have to move them up. I've been moving up my 9-pounder foot artillery since the start of the battle. They're very slow moving units, so it's going to take a little while for them to get into position. So right now I only have one of my 3 artillery firing. Okay, you can see my left flank here has taken some pretty heavy artillery strikes. You can see those smoking craters in the ground. I do have my cavalry all the way on the edge there. They will play a role later in this battle, but for now I'm going to try and keep them more or less out of range and out of attention of the enemy artillery. You can see how decimating those artillery strikes were on my units. I lost roughly 60 guys there with just a couple artillery strikes. And here's a cavalry fight all the way on my right wing. Prussian Lancers against my King German Legion Light Dragoons. I did bring 2 cavalry units. They are both fast units. I want to use them almost strictly to either chase down routing units or to somehow get them through to the artillery. We'll take a look at that a little later. You can see the effect of the artillery on some of these Prussian units there. They're not really liking this too much. We're in no man's land here in the middle of the battlefield. It's basically the kill zone of a typical World War I battlefield. If you were anywhere near the middle of the battlefield, you can either be taken out by heavy artillery barrages or very high rates of fire from your enemy. You can see here this 7-pounder howitzer unit for the Prussians is moving up. And at some point I'm going to try and deploy my cavalry to take that unit out. Here's a look at my foot units fighting under the trees here. I chose this map because it will provide some protection from artillery for both armies, and there are some open areas as well, so I really wanted to see the effects of artillery in both of those type of geographical areas of a battlefield. You can see here the Prussian cavalry is making another go at my German Legion Light Dragoons. and right now my guys are pretty close to routing. They've been in some fights here on my right wing, and they've been undergoing some pretty heavy artillery fire, so they're not going to last too long over there. There's my fencibles firing some shots into that cavalry.
Our men are running, sir.
Okay, you can see some of my units are routing in the middle there. And it's important to try and keep your infantry moving as much as possible. As I mentioned earlier, they are in the kill zone here, so if you can keep them moving, use terrain to provide some cover, you'll lessen their vulnerability to artillery. But nonetheless, pretty much infantry, are in harm's way in the middle of the battlefield here, and do have to think about artillery at all times. You can see here I'm rushing my other light dragoons unit into the side here. I brought them in real wide. I let the enemy army advance forward, and I waited for my time to come in here and take out the 7-pounder howitzer unit. You can see here they're going to get off some last-second shots at my units, but my cavalry is going to come in here and silence this unit for good on this battle. And I know a lot of people have advised against using cavalry. By all means, you want to keep them away from infantry and the center of the battlefield. But I have had maybe a 40-50% success rate on the battles I have played on using my cavalry to take out enemy artillery. So I'm going to continue to bring maybe 2 units of cavalry to battles so that I can use them in that way. Because they can simply get there quicker than an infantry unit can. And as you'll see at the end of this battle, once everything thins out, it's really tough for infantry to advance and get to enemy artillery when they're rushing out in the open. They just simply can't get there fast enough. Here's some Prussian musketeers unit advancing on my right flank here. And I call it a flank. I mean, this isn't really, line formation, Napoleonic style battle. It's the right side of the battlefield, and I don't really have any clear set lines here. It's basically you want to move your army up in somewhat of a group, for firepower and for support for other units, but really there's nothing too formation-like about this type of battle. So you can see here I was able to take out so far 2 of the 3 artillery units of the enemy, one with my cavalry, the other with one of my artillery pieces. Now I still have all 3 of my units, and that's really going to be the difference in this battle. From this point, artillery is king, and I'm going to show you how artillery is king for the rest of this battle. Okay, here's some advancing musketeers unit. You can see that deadly rate of fire. Looks like it's taken roughly 3 to 4 seconds for each of these guys to reload their rifles. Here's my light foot unit. Okay, we're fast forwarding a little bit here towards the end of the battle. You can see my 6-pounder foot artillery getting some shots off. I've one on the right there with my 42nd Blackfoot, and I believe it's a fencibles unit over there. You can see right now the Prussians have no artillery left. They only have these infantry units, and now they have to advance their infantry, even provided they have cover here, to try and take out my artillery, and you can see the barrage that they're under. I've taken a relatively healthy unit here that was green, and now they're reduced to an orange, and pretty soon I'm going to get this unit to rout because of the artillery barrage they're under. It took all of maybe 30 seconds to get this unit to rout under this artillery barrage, so you can see how effective a role it plays in these battles. Here there was an infantry charge onto my center artillery unit, my 9-pounder artillery unit, and I brought my general staff in here to help out. And you can see right there that my artillery unit is going to go ahead and rout, and my general staff is holding their own in the middle there, winning decisively. But I really just wanted to buy some time there with my general staff. At this point in the battle, I don't feel like I really need them, so I often do like to use my general staff at the end of battles to buy myself some more time to get some other units into place. But you can see right here the barrage that this relatively healthy musketeers unit is undergoing. I mean, it's just basically a suicide charge into my cannon, and you can see how they're going to break pretty quickly. I mean, there's no way in real life how people can undergo that kind of death, destruction, and carnage and continue to charge. And you can see here the results. That was a fantastic battle. I hope you check this mod out. I'll put a link on my home page on the left column there. Click it, try it out, and enjoy.